Pleased to be with you all tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to my dear friend and fellow musician, Amy Glass, who is going to lead us a song. What are we going to hear/sing, Amy?
Hello, everyone, and happy Chanukah, 6th night. Woohoo! How about Hine Matov?
Good.
Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Amy, lovely as always. It's good to be together in harmony. Do y'all know that the end of that psalm says living together in harmony is like the dew that goes down the beard of an old man? That's how satisfying it is. Psalms. All right. Speaking of wisdom, I'd like to call on Heidi Tyson to tell us a little bit about this wonderful community and within it, this special part of our community, our caring community. How are you, Heidi? We love to see you. We like to hear you even more.
Sorry. Hey, Alan, how are you? Thank you. I feel so fortunate to share the 6th night of Hanukkah with each of you. Chag Sameach. I'm the current chair of Judea's Caring Community, which, along with an incredible group of congregants and Judea's professional staff, was revitalized about 5 years ago to its current structure, lifting up the mission of Gemilut Chasadim, which literally means the giving of loving kindness. Gemilut Chasadim is one of the pillars in which Judaism rests, and it permeates all that we do as a sacred community. Judea's Caring Community practices Gemilut Chasadim when a new child is welcomed into one of our families and a volunteer delivers a meal and a welcome baby basket. We practice Gemilut Chasadim when a temple member is sick or recovering from surgery and they receive a home-cooked meal, a friendly visit, or a coloring book to temporarily distract them from their pain and worries. We see it when a member receives a virtual music visit from another member, when our caring correspondents write cards celebrating your joys and sympathizing with your sorrows. And we practice Gemilut Chasadim when we attend a funeral to pay our respects to the deceased and sit Shiva with the mourner. The caring community provides a structure for these acts of kindness, but it's each of you and the members of our community who fully participate in ways that work best for them by sharing the care and spreading the love. The caring community is one of many bright shining lights of Judea Reform because it illuminates our warmth and kindness from within. While I have participated in many areas of Judea Reform, and as you know, will continue to do so in the future, the revitalization of Judea's caring community will always hold a special place in my Judea Reform story. It reflects who I strive to be and what Gary and I wish to instill in our 3 daughters. As the menorah spreads light, so does each of us when we practice Gemilut Chasadim. The giving of loving kindness is when, I believe, we shine the brightest. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you for the ways that you spread light to our community and lead from one mitzvah to another mitzvah to another. Will you light the candles? And all of us, let's light our Hanukkah candles while Amy Glass sings us in with our blessing. Night 6. Let's do it.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavotenu bayamim hahem b'hazman hazeh.
Lovely. Look at all of those lights. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. High all the way. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Heidi. It's lovely to have light in this community. We're now going to talk about the ways that we open our tent to a broader public, the ways that we are outward facing with a welcome face. We'll turn things over to Iris Weiss, the chair of our inclusion committee. Hi, Iris.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for being here tonight.
Sure. So I've been involved with the Judea Inclusion Committee since it was established under the leadership of Cora Harrison about a decade ago. And the inclusion efforts have truly brought light and enlightenment to Judea Reform. One of the things we do every year is we celebrate Jewish Disability Awareness, Acceptance, and Inclusion Month at a Shabbat service in February. An advance notice this year, it will be February 5th. 2021, next year actually. Some of our efforts have been ensuring that interfaith families feel welcome at Judea, but importantly, in addition to the Inclusion Committee, a lot of our work involves collaborating with others at Judea, including clergy, staff, and lay leaders. And we've worked with staff and the Buildings and Grounds Committee to increase accessibility for older adults and people with disabilities, the easy access entrance to the Levin Social Hall, large print prayer books, assistive listening devices, better microphones, streaming of services. All of these efforts have helped make us a more welcoming, accessible, and inclusive congregation. The Inclusion Committee has worked with membership so that the renewal and application forms for several years now have asked people about their inclusion needs. And in working with our older adults, the Inclusion Committee participated with the caring community in making calls to our seniors, particularly important now because of the isolation many are experiencing. And in the last couple of weeks, the Inclusion Committee also sent Chanukah cards to our households that include members 82 and above. The Adult Education has worked with us in co-sponsoring a NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness presentation. And the wonderful young people in our 20s and 30s group have really reached out to the children and young adults with special needs, inviting us to participate in the Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving celebration, the second night Seder, Mitzvah Day, Hanukkah party, and during the pandemic, Inclusion Bingo. And that has meant a lot to our children and young adults with special needs. And the religious school, Rena has just been terrific in working with us. Last year at the inclusion service, I think many of you were there, the 3rd and 4th grade kids signed the Shema. Rena has found some inclusion-oriented Jewish-themed curriculum materials and also stories showing diverse families. And the committee has worked with the religious school and others in updating the guidelines for B'nai Mitzvahs so that all children have a place and a way to celebrate their coming of age. And on a personal note, as a parent of a young adult with disabilities, I have been heartened to learn that the lack of belonging that our family used to feel turned out to be primarily due to lack of awareness, not resistance. And other families who have been members of Judea for a long time have also referred to a sea change, with Judea becoming a much more accessible and inclusive congregation where we and our kids feel welcome. Much more can and will be done, including working with the Racial Justice Task Force to explore how our congregation can be truly welcoming to Jews of all races and ethnicities. But even as we continue to strive to be more inclusive, we can be proud that Judea has already brought light to the lives of so many people who might otherwise have felt marginalized.
Thank you, Iris. It said, may my house be a house of prayer for all people. And the work that you have done through heading this community and the work that you have done by establishing the Daniel Weiss Fund has allowed us to move right into this pandemic time to have these online worship services. We had such a huge advantage having some of these things in place through the hard work of Ray Jones, who is here tonight, and we all know carries the synagogue in so many ways. And through your generosity and the generosity of others, we've been able to spring into this time and move into online services fairly seamlessly. So thank you very much for that. And while we wish we were eating latkes from the Weiss family kitchen right now, we have something almost as good, a tutorial from the Joseph home about how to make latkes. I will tell you at the end, he says something controversial having to do with applesauce and sour cream, but otherwise, we can all learn a great deal from this video demonstrating proper latke technique.
Chag Sameach, happy Hanukkah, Judea Reform congregation. Welcome to our kitchen. Tonight I'm going to demonstrate how we make latkes. In the Joseph household, we make latkes very simply. Russet potatoes, grated onion, kosher salt, baking powder, and just enough flour and beaten egg to make a binder. And we also hand grate all of our potatoes and our onions. So let me demonstrate exactly how we do this. The ratios are generally 3 potatoes, about a handful of onion, enough salt to taste. You can always put salt in later, and then again the binder. So we have our grated potatoes that I've already grated on this. I've rinsed out all the starch. You can see that it's fairly white, a little bit of brown, but fairly white. I'm going to put in the egg, about a handful of onion, and yes, I have washed my hands thoroughly before. A little bit of salt. Mix it up a little bit. Now your batter is going to be liquid, so right before when you make the patties, you're gonna, like a hamburger, and you're gonna squeeze it. So you're gonna squeeze out all the juices so you have a patty that's as dry as possible. Now let's make one. Cast iron pan, heat it up to medium, fill it with about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of oil, get it just hot enough so if you put one strand, you can hear it. So this is ready to go. So I make my patty and I squeeze it out. I put it in. We'll make a couple more. These will cook depending on how hot your oil is, maybe 2-3 minutes on each side. You want them to get nice and golden brown and delicious. And then as you take them out, you put a little bit of salt on it. And in our house, we use applesauce. Other people use sour cream. You can use whatever you want. We like applesauce. I just happen to have 4 ready right here. Put a little bit of applesauce. Try it. Hot tomato.
All right. Well, we all saw that controversial use of the applesauce there. I think that we can all agree that maybe to disagree. I just like to see this, a very important show of hands here. Who is an applesauce only person with their latkes? Who is a sour cream only person with their latkes? And who is a both person? Who is a neither person? Julie Fishkin. What do you not eat latkes? Or what do you put on your latkes? You're from the Holy Land of Brooklyn. What tell us, unmute and tell us, Julie. I need to know.
Sour cream makes me gag, and I like applesauce, but by itself. And I just like the fried goodness. Like I want to taste it. I don't want it to be covered up.
Got it. Very
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
the things we learn here at Judea
I'm in
Reform.
Camp Julie.
Camp Julie.
Mhm.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I'm pleased
We in Poland eat with sugar.
with sugar.
Oh.
Yeah, some people do. Sephardim especially.
Yeah.
I could get with that, Anna.
Barry looks like he has something to say.
Yes, I just want to say that Barbara's Luckies is so good that we don't have to put anything
Oh,
on them
geez.
at all.
Oh,
Now go make
you're
some.
a pro, Barry. You're
That
a
is-
pro.
No, I
That's
mean,
good.
that's totally the way to get what you need in life, Barry. And speaking of getting what the synagogue needs, I'm going to call on Heidi Tyson to tell us a little bit about the annual appeal, how we're lighting the night these 18 days.
Oh, Ellen, I probably didn't read that part of your email. I hope so. As you have probably received several emails from Ziva Rainey, our president, Carrie Norrie, our development chair, Rabbi Soffer, and Emily Young, we are in the midst of 18 days of light at Judea Reform. And with all this programming and lighting of the candles, you also have an opportunity to support all of this good work through a meaningful gift to the annual appeal. So I do hope that you'll join Gary and I in making a gift to the annual appeal, and you can do that through our website. Maybe somebody will post a link in the chat, I'm not sure, or from the emails that have been coming to your house. And the beautiful thing is once you make the gift, all the emails just say thank you, and they don't ask for any more. So please join us in supporting Judea Reform.
To be clear, I did not ask Heidi ahead of time to prepare that. I was just testing her to see in her role as future Empress of Judea Reform, if she could pull that off. And of course she could easily. So thank you, Heidi, for that and for all the things that you all do. In a moment, we're going to have our closing song. But before that, we've established a tradition. And if you know Judea Reform, you know that anything you do, time you do anything 3 times is a tradition at Judea Reform of talking about anyone who's experienced some extra light this year. We've had plenty of darkness in 2020, but if you've had something special that's brought you light or brought your community light, please take time to share it with us right now. We've had several grandchildren already and matriculations and graduations and all sorts of great stuff. Anyone want to share with this beloved community?
Yes,
Like the Silvers, go for it.
we're ready. We had to leave the meeting at 7:02 because we got a FaceTime call from our granddaughter, Elena Lowinger, to tell us that she just heard early decision acceptance from Tufts.
Wonderful.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wonderful.
Go Jumbos! And we
Yeah,
Yeah.
Heidi.
Silvers and the Lowingers are excited about that.
Yeah.
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 Oh, my jumbo is showing up.
Anyone else want to share some light? You don't have to. It's not mandatory. No? Okay. Great. Well, you guys all bring light to Judea Reform. Our caring community and our inclusion committee are certainly torch bearers in this space, and they're Shamish who help create more light in the menorah of Judea Reform. I am so excited to hear what Amy is going to sing and then hear Amy sing. Take us home, Amy.
All right. How about Or Zarua? Or Zarua, La Tzadik, Uyishrelev Simcha. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, Uyishrelev Simcha. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, Uyishrelev Simcha. Uyishrelev Simcha. Or Zarua Tzadik Uyishrelev Simcha. Uyishrelev Simcha. Or Zarua La Tzadik Uyishrelev Simcha. Or Zarua La Tzadik U'yishrelev simcha.
Who knows what that instrument is that Amy is playing? Does anyone know what it's called?
No idea.
Amy, tell us about your Latin percussion.
It's not a sausage. It's a
No.
kabasa.
It's a cabasa.
Kabasa.
Being around two grandsons, I was going to call it a rattle, but
There you go.
Tomorrow, my friends, we'll be lighting the candles again at 7 o'clock. We'll be hearing from our racial justice core team. Sonia Laurie is our lay leader in that group. We'll also be hearing from the Awala Spector family about religious school and the efforts that we're making there to work towards a more, I almost said a more verdant and respectful community because I listen to NPR all the time, a more inclusive community and continuing on in those efforts. And Thursday night, we'll finish up at 7 o'clock with Andrew Geller, Amy Newman, and Heidi Aycock, lighting all 9 candles and bringing all that light to our community. And then on Friday, a little bit called Shabbat. So I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be well, bring the light out into the world. We need it. Let's all unmute and say Happy Hanukkah. Everyone unmute. Zoom.
Happy Hanukkah.
happy Hanukkah, everyone.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.